Welcome to the workout brief for Friday. We're gonna get a bit gymnasty today. So we've got part A, B, and C for you today, and they're all on a gymnastics theme. So it's gonna be quality work that we're looking for here. We are gonna start off with a Tabata of hanging. So find something you can hang off, whether it's a tree branch or a pull-up bar, or a set of rings, whatever you've got. And we are gonna do a 20-second hang, 10-second rest for 8 rounds. Now, in that hang, I want you to treat that as an opportunity to practice the active hang if possible. Prefer not to be in a passive hang for this. Difference being, in the active hang, you're pulling your shoulder blades down, you're keeping your abs tight, and you're trying to make sure that you're in that nice, what is that shape I'm making with my hand? We're trying to make sure we're in that nice hollow shape from hands to toes, okay? So you can do 20 seconds, and then drop down, rest for 10, straight back up again at the end of that 10 seconds rest. Obviously, if you need to scale that, you can go for a reduced amount of time, but you could also just give yourself a little bit of assistance, whether that's from a toe spot, so putting your big toe or like a whole foot on a chair or another surface to take some of the load whilst you try and hold that active hang for the 20 seconds. For part B, we have got a Tabata in handstand hold, okay? So you're gonna kick up against the wall or do a wall walk, and you are gonna hold for 20 seconds, come down for 10 seconds rest, which is not much. If you're doing a wall walk, you're gonna get back down and then have to go straight back up again pretty much. And then you're gonna do that for 8 rounds. The thing we wanna focus on here is really driving the ground away with our hands. We want our shoulders stacked above elbows, stacked above wrists. Hands want to be at shoulder width, not wider, okay? And we want to make sure that our biceps stay right by our ears and we are pushing the ground away nice and hard. We also want to focus on drawing the belly button in towards the spine, bracing the abdomen so that you are in a nice straight line and you're squeezing your bum. If you need to scale this one any further from a wall walk, then what I want you to do is go for a pike handstand hold. So feet up on a surface like a chair, a table, stairs, and get yourself into a nice L shape so that your bum or your hips are where you're hinged and your hips are trying to be as close to above your hands as possible, okay? So you might need to walk your hands a little closer to the surface you've got your feet on so that you can do that. A really good thing to do here is to set up a camera so that you can record yourself doing these and you can check it in your 10-second break, see if you're getting close to that L shape. If you're not, walk your hands a little bit further. Maybe put a line to target. That's a really good way to try and get yourself into that tall position. You can also do the same thing with a wall walk and try and practice getting your hands closer and closer to that wall so your nose is almost touching the wall. What we really want to aim for in that wall walk is nose and toes touching, nothing else. And finally, for part C, we've got a Tabata, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off of L-sit hold. Now, if you've got some parallettes, then more power to you, you can do that on them. Otherwise, couple of chairs is a really good option, or the corner of the counter in the kitchen, or just a couple of dumbbells. We're really just looking to try and get the hips and the heels off the ground. So for your 20 seconds, you're gonna keep the hips and heels off the ground and think about trying to pull your toes up towards your forehead, okay? You might find that it helps to think about pulling your hips behind you, okay? So instead of trying to raise your hips up in front of you, you're actually trying to contract your abs, bring your hips up towards your ribs and toes up towards your forehead. And that's gonna lead to the best L-sit that you can do. For me, I get cramp in my quads as soon as I start doing these. So you wanna try and meter that maybe with a slight bend in the knees. You can go for a tuck hold, which is a scaled version of this. So bringing your knees up to the chest, keeping the hips and the heels off the ground, or you can go for a single leg L-sit. So one leg is tucked up to the chest, the other leg is straight out in front, and that's an intermediate scale between the two. Short of that, what I want you to do is sit yourself on the ground with your legs out in front in that L-sit, place the hands between the hips and the knees on the ground, push the ground away through your hands, and lift your heels up off the ground. That's another really good scale you can do for these, and something I would probably do if I was doing these, because that's a really helpful way for me to get the hold for that 20 seconds. So use one of those scales as a good alternative if you need to. You don't have to do parts A, B, and C running into each other, but you can if you want. So you can leave a little bit of rest in between if you want, but to be honest, the moves kind of don't really interfere with each other too much. So if you want to just set up a Tabata timer for 24 rounds, and go for it like that. That's a good way to go. If you don't have a Tabata timer already, I would recommend just having a search on the App Store on your phone to find a WOD timer. It'll have a Tabata mode, or just search Tabata on there. The one I use is WOD proof. It can be super useful if you're ever doing any qualifiers or looking to record your workouts with a timer on screen. You can use that. And to finish up with, once you finish your cool down, we are going to get into some frog stretch, some wall shoulder stretch, and you can just get into some calves and foam rolling if you've got the time. All right, guys, look forward to catching you tomorrow for the final workout brief of the week.